Today on the CTV News at 5, former Hurricanes players take to social media in support of a move to sell the team. Plus, how childcare centers could suffer because of provincial cutbacks. And Iggy traded.
I never would have dreamt I would have got to play here so long.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The team may not be up for sale, but that hasn't stopped some former players from voicing their desire to see the Lethbridge Hurricanes under new ownership. Shortly after we broke the news yesterday that a potential ownership group has made their intentions to buy the franchise known, these notes started appearing on Twitter, all using the hashtag #SellTheCanes. Former captain Brody Sutter says, crazy day back in Lethbridge for the @WHL Hurricanes. For the players and fans' sake, the team needs an ownership group. Mike Kay tweeted, I had 4 coaches and 3 GMs during my 3 years in Lethbridge. A real ownership group would give the team an actual direction. And DJ King wrote, sometimes change is not a bad thing with the right people. The Bridge can become a great hockey town. Now, roughly 40 former Hurricanes players have made comments about the potential sale on Twitter. Still, the president of the organization made it clear the club is not for sale. There is a lengthy process involved in buying a community-owned team, and the potential ownership group tells CTV they will continue to pursue the purchase of the club. Earlier this week, coach and GM Rich Preston, along with the 2 assistant coaches, were let go. I think you pointed it out best for the forecast in one of our emails today, Dory, that what's not to love? You've got a long weekend, nice temperatures, sunshine, and a good chance of chocolate.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a nice weekend when you factor all those things in together. We had a little bit of a sprinkle. Well, we're still seeing a little bit of that on some of the windshields when you're driving around. We talked about this yesterday, possibility of a late day sprinkle, and we're seeing that right now. But all in all, wait till you see the 5-day forecast. The weekend is looking very nice and tasty. I'll tell you all about it.
Thank you, Dory. Lethbridge Regional Police will be adding a new member to its administrative team. The Police Commission has agreed to introduce the position of Deputy Chief. They'll also reduce the number of inspectors from 4 to 3. The Deputy Chief position is aimed at reducing the administrative workload on Police Chief Tom McKenzie so he can concentrate on his other duties. The chair of the Police Commission says the move will strengthen the organization.
We just felt, after seeing the workload that he's under and the way the service is developing and the way the community is developing, that we needed to find a more effective way for our service to run at the executive level. And this was felt that it was the best way to go.
The police service says they'll likely hire from within for this new position from one of their 4 inspectors. There is some strong public backlash that executives with Alberta Health Services will be getting a bonus this year, despite huge cutbacks in health care. AHS says the bonuses are part of contract agreements with senior officials and will eliminate performance pay April 1st. This compensation, though, is for work that's already been done. It comes at a time when other provincial workers like teachers and doctors are having their salaries frozen as part of a cost-saving initiative. Eliminating the bonuses for the next fiscal year is part of a plan to save 10%, about $35 million on administrative expenses over 3 years. With tighter revenues expected, however, the health minister says he was hoping to see more.
We were looking to agencies, boards and commissions like AHS to provide some leadership. I'm disappointed that they're not going to change the plan with respect to this year's bonuses. And I think taxpayers are disappointed, and I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Horner did, however, applaud the plan to cut bonuses for next year. Now, here's what some Southern Albertans are saying about the bonuses.
Yeah, come. They're already getting paid big wages, why get a bonus? What are they accomplishing? Getting us deeper in debt.
They are under a contract, and the contract provides for it. I don't advocate breaching contract.
I don't care that it's in a contract or not in the contract. We need to rewrite the contracts. I worked in business. Things change. We've got to cut back our spending.
I think it's ridiculous. We're all called to cut back in these days, and I think it's not only the people at the bottom of the ladder that need to cut back, but it's the top ones as well.
When the provincial budget came out earlier this month, daycare centres were surprised to see a grant they've been receiving for the past 10 years coming to an abrupt halt. As Jeanette Rocher reports, it could be the parents who pay the price.
These kids aren't thinking about where the money came from to buy their paper and markers. Those little extras are the things that daycare centers budget for. But after April 1st, childcare programs across Alberta will get $7,500 less than they used to from the province.
So it's less money in the budget to send our staff members for extra training, to buy extra learning supplies, extra art, craft supplies, enhancement, things that make daycare just a little bit better, a little bit higher quality.
Sherry Hunt says now daycares will be forced to come up with their own money to maintain that quality.
When you have budget cuts, you can either raise revenue or cut services, and there's really nothing left for us to cut at this point.
That could mean a fee hike for parents. Right now, the cost of daycare is $665 a month per child, the second highest expense for a family next to a mortgage.
I don't have that choice to stay home and be with my child. I would love to, but some people do need to work. Childcare isn't always just an option.
As a single working parent, Lorinda Peel says it's frustrating to know the province isn't making childcare a priority.
When you look at the picture that Alberta provides the lowest funding for childcare support in Canada, and we are a wealthy province, it just doesn't make sense.
But MLA Greg Weddick says the intent of that grant was to maintain requirements of accrediting childcare centers.
The reductions on the daycare side was in the area of staff training and accreditation. And now that we have most of the facilities accredited, there's not as much happening over there.
But childcare workers say they aren't buying it because accreditation is a never-ending process that happens every 3 years.
We thought that there would be a major investment in childcare, and there really wasn't.
Jeanette Rocher, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The province says it has put $6 million into childcare and increased the subsidy income level so that families earning $50,000 or less can access a childcare subsidy. A Calgary doctor is looking for a better way to treat babies with a severe form of epilepsy. Without treatment, the disease can be devastating.
Good boy. Good boy.
11-month-old Clinton is from Raymond. He is a cute baby with some great chubby cheeks, but those cheeks are as a result of steroid treatment for a type of infant epilepsy called infantile spasms, or West syndrome. Clinton is actually on his second round of treatment. The first one worked, but only temporarily. The goal is to get the seizures under control.
Because of the potential of very poor long-term neurodevelopmental outcome, we take it as an emergency. Once we make the diagnosis, we're treat right away.
It's scary. Some days are much longer than others, that's for sure.
Now, if the drug treatment doesn't work, the next step is something called the ketogenic diet. It's a strict diet where 80% of calories come from fat. It's not clear why the diet, which mimics starvation, prevents seizures in some children, but not all. So the next step is to study the diet so it's more effective, palatable, and easier to follow.
If you're treating infantile spasms, they're going to be on the diet for a long term, right? It's not going to be for a month or two. It could be several years that they'll be on the diet. So it's important to find ways to make the diet better.
Karen Owen has more in the story coming up at 6. Meanwhile, the Palliser Regional School District and its 450 teachers are the first jurisdiction in Alberta to officially ratify a 4-year labor agreement. The province has asked Alberta's 62 school boards and the ATA to sign off on the tentative deal. It includes a 3-year salary freeze for teachers, followed by a 2% increase and a one-time lump sum payment in the final year. Now, Superintendent Kevin Getz says the trustees have outlined some concerns to the minister, but after weighing all of the pros and cons, decided they were prepared to support the agreement.
Anytime you enter into an agreement, you really need to have both sides have elements that go, well, it's not exactly how I wanted, but that's part of making a deal. And when we look at it, the 4 years of labor piece, of course, that's very critical. 3 years of zero increases, and the increases that are in there are to be covered by the government as far as those expenses. So those are good things.
Meanwhile, Exhibition Park officials say they expect this year's Children's Festival to be the biggest one yet. Officials unveiled their entertainment lineup this morning inside the South Pavilion. More than 7,100 people attended Children's Fest last year. Officials say they have every reason to believe that number will grow. Thomas the Train and Friends will be the headliner. Dora Explorer will be back, and they'll join the petting zoo, clowns, and various stage performances. Organizers say the challenge is keeping things fresh year after year.
Great, so pretty excited. Last year we had Barney, and the year before that we had Shrek. So we continue on the path of making young people happy in Southern Alberta. We've been lucky so far, but that's the biggest challenge is the entertainment, changing it up. But it's also a great day for families to get out and just let loose some energy, and that's what we're about here. Is we want to bring families together in Southern Alberta.
The festival is set for April the 20th. This will be the third Children's Festival. Coming up, Dory's going to tell us just how great we can expect a long weekend to be. For the forecast, first though, the day's markets.